What's going on, guys? It's the motherfucking kid. Here we finally are with the release of the Clipping album. Just before we get started, I am taking requests for any type of albums that you guys want me to listen to. I'm trying to grow the channel, so if you guys recommend something that's relatively known within the scene, I'll go ahead and check it out. So we get the infamous "It's Clipping Beach." Super excited. That shit just hyped me up. So it's saying right here, it's the second part to There Existed an Addiction to Blood. So this is part two. It was always originally supposed to be a two-piece. Okay, that's interesting. Because it did, when the album cover came out, I was like, oh, this is exactly like the same. It's like another step. And you know, a bunch of artists always do that shit. You know, it's not a big deal. But Clipping never usually does that shit, so I was like, oh, what the fuck. Here come the hammers to rearrange body chemistry. What does that mean? Like when someone's being crucified, like that's when shit changes, or I'm not picking up. I think the best line is take this tape and play it. Listen to the message. Did you really think that death would just be so simple? No, it never stops. You should run away. You won't make it far. Count your blessings for the life you've had and depart. Great interlude into 96 Nev Campbell playing with a Ouija board, and you know, she's here, boom, next track. It's really good, like a horror movie in itself. I'm here for it, bro. Let's go. Underneath this is the first. Okay, so let's break this shit down. Impending doom. So obviously it's talking about, you know, like some zombie apocalypse type of shit. I really like that line of like breaking the face off the planet, waiting for something to shake. It kind of reminds me a lot of like climate change, and you know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, we're gonna start seeing a lot of infectious diseases because of climate change just popping up. And with COVID coming, and it's like, oh, this isn't the first one that we're gonna see. Who knows when that fucking zombie one's coming out? I'll tell you that much.
Underneath the weights off, birds in the trees don't sing, as if the mountain peaks will break off, storms overseas forming. It's on the way, maybe get day off, call it a reborning, and any living thing that can stave off surely will be mourning.
Wow. No words. Give me a minute. That's the best story he's told on the whole album so far. That's the best performance on the album as well. I really like that imagery of the cannibal people, and like it's just so super apocalyptic. Cannibal canopy coming to claim the main spot in evolution. There's a new hierarchy that rises, and it's like the people that are willing to go that extra step that really survive. This is some real like Walking Dead shit, you know, like the world ended. The fucking, you gotta fight against the elements. They gotta fight against man that's become crazy as well, you know, trying to survive a situation. If you were saying something other than it's time to end it all, then you were playing silly games, like there's nothing there to follow. Wallow in the shallow waters where they're dying. All these causes of returning to the birth. The whole involvement of like the animals that survive, and like, oh, whatever's left, they're gonna be mourning. The vocabulary that he's picking is very interesting to me. Like it's like the trees, mountains, storms, seas, overseas. And he gives me a lot of like climate change vibes, like climate change alarmist vibes. Oh, this shit's gonna fuck us up, it's gonna kill us, this is a real threat. And it's kind of like the hidden underneath this veneer of like zombie apocalyptic cannibal hordes image. Just like this is kind of like presenting that in the foreground, but in the background it's like taking a very hippie stance. Like a very, very dark poem, like condemning men to die. And it's kind of like these people that have been fooled into believing that religion is um, gonna save them somehow. Like a conservative using the Bible to defend from views that would otherwise be seen as like immoral or some shit like that. You know, like, oh no, you know, your interpretation of the Bible, so you discriminate against other people or some type of shit like that. Only the wicked men fall to the death, so make them dead.
Come from tradition just like you. Found fathers found in same crew. So no need, no judge, know just what to do.
When he says, wag too much and they love they guns, guard them, they savior, so make fun. Guard them, say savior, so make fun. Time, fine, feline, and bitch, try deal. That's some good wordplay right there.
Bands for the gun rights. Scan, can they run right? Stand in the sunlight.
Bands for the gun rights. Scan, can they run right? Stand in the sunlight. In like 3 lines, it just goes through this very dark future. Like, oh, we're gonna get bans, but on the gun rights. Like, fuck that. We're gonna ban that shit. Scan, can they run right? Like, oh, the people in power, the people with the guns already, they're the ones that are scanning. Like, okay, so giving them the lowest of the low. Oh, like they can run right. Fuck it, let's go. It's fair. It's fair. And in the sunlight, like, and then it just gets exposed. Like, this is the reality of the situation. I really love that. This fucking guy's a poetic genius.
The wind plays, kid shit. She was blowing before the wind. Tell them blowsy. Tell them blood moon. Tell them low fog.
Okay, so it's giving me a lot of like witch vibes, like witch in the woods type of vibes. I'm not sure where we're gonna see where it goes, but like in the beginning, it's 200 years of rust on the gate. At first, I thought it was kind of like Empire, but I feel like they've done vampires a lot, so I want to see if this turns out different. Also, the word blood moon, it kind of throws me off, cause I associate that with like witches and werewolves, but
Instead, though, like the leaves are brown and the sky is gray and the dreams are shit and the mama ran away. Papa drank the gun black, you smoked the backwoods and now the woods call you back. The woods whisper off and wind. Back to the mouse, back to the snake, back to the root, back to the day, back to the fire, back to the way the wood burned back when they told you she couldn't stand. The left looks right when the leaves break sun and if all camo on my so soft that you can't tell steps from breath. But they say she don't walk, she flow, she flow. She flow for glory's a bitch, the sun will be. She bad though. Come and get your picture, Trish. She bad though. Can't see the forest through the trees. Everybody come together.
sticking with the idea that this is like a witch in the woods, just because I like that in the chorus. It's like talking about the woods. You can see through, but you can't really see through the woods. Also, like she floats for glory. It's a bitch. Like that, she's floating. It just gives me more witch vibes. I love that fucking movie. It reminds me of the witch. Like at the end when she starts like just floating and she's like fucking butt naked. It's fucking dope. This movie.
Kid shit, dinner talk, let them walk, let them enjoy mountain air. It's a breath, it's a gift, let them get more comfortable. Start a fire, have a smoke, take a drink, take a flick. She bad though, she bad though. Come and get your picture, Trish, she bad though.
It's like that witch in the woods that kind of like brings you in by giving you what you want. And in this case, like she bad. You know, she looks like really hot, so you like don't question it. You just kind of like follow her. You're just like, oh yeah, what's up? And then boom, she cuts off your dick and eats it. All right, so that was creepy as fuck. Great interlude for this album though. Super creepy vibrations, man. Like what the fuck? They're coming through hard. I feel like I'm in the fucking Twilight Zone right now.
Wibble. Hand on the center console with the pistol. Tinted black, got the window right. Worse when the Xannies don't work. Any panic gears ringing when you call him, can't hear you. Every 7 seconds, eyes back.
Bro, this feels like he's involving a regular hip hop fan into like he's incorporating a regular hip hop fan into a scary story, and it's just like it doesn't happen as much as like, oh, this is only dedicated to him, not just like, oh, this portion of the song or this verse or whatever.
Inside at night, ready to fire with. Guns like he ain't got none. Jokes on them when his Uzi weigh a ton. Get out the car slow, always walk, never run. Find a busy block, keep his hand locked on the trigger. Trace it where he be it. Never trust another man walking by, cheese it. Never catch him sleep. He won't let the bad dreams win. Something in this room didn't used to be. Gin bottle to the face, can't fool a G. Laughing at him, he run the motherfucking city, it ain't no buddy. Check the lock, every time.
I'm super excited about this story. I need to find out what's gonna happen to this guy. So far, he's super fucking paranoid, and I really like the chorus of like something in this room that ain't used to be. Something in this room that's gone. It's like it's was there someone here or what the fuck is going on? Did I move it? Am I fucking going crazy?
Can't fool a G. Told his brother to be ready with the eulogy. They laughed about it, but he hoped he really did it. Walk clock clicking, getting loud about a minute. That secondhand shit got to go. He be on that voodoo. Everybody know. Gucci to they boo, they fucking with him.
So I think that's been my most favorite track so far on the album. You can get behind it, like musically, it's just like it gets progressively more like bonkers. It's not some story type of shit, like the tracks that they used to do. The story one, story two, whatever the fuck. Like they just keep on adding shit, and it's cool. I love the ambiguity that it has to it. It's cool. He just goes to sleep with like his fucking chucks. It tells you a lot. Like this guy's got all the money that anyone around him could have. Yeah, what the fuck does it really mean? Like he's fucking crazy. He's just paranoid as fuck. The Horror is like a rock band, right? I'm not sure who Horror is, but I think they're a rock band.
Come and get it. Too long standing in the lunch line. Hungry with it. Oh, you got a punchline? Just a minute. Step on, step off. Somebody smell like fear. Somebody got no clue why he is here. That might be you. You might want to be clear. It's cool, it's cool. You're so endearing. Looking like a snack, no cap, no flattery. But you like to beat it up and claim no battery. So feel get a mic. No one cares about your bars. Your screams are the thing they want to hear. No way, better make one. Nothing comes easy.
No one cares about your bars. Your screams are the only thing they want to hear. God fucking damn. I don't think I've ever heard a more serial killer vibe type of bar in my life. I'm trying really hard to think. It's just like really, yo, I don't want to even hear you rap. I want to hear you fucking beg for your life. Like what the fuck? And people are like, yeah, man, fuck, he hit that shit. Like what the fuck? He's talking about like murder. Don't know who Horror is. Apparently he's a rapper, maybe? I'm not sure. If you guys know, let me know what's up. I like that line of like, I'm Pearl Harbor with the clips. Kind of like, oh, I'm a fucking terrorist by myself. The psychotic vibe that it's bringing. Like David, he was kind of like giving me this image of like the workplace, like in the lunch line, getting your food, and then it's like, oh, you think you're hard? No, you're not fucking hard. You can't even eat this shit. Fucking vegetarian. Fuck. What type of workplace is this? And then like this guy comes in and he's like talking about, like, oh, I can eat this beef too. Me and David, we can split this. You can't even stomach it. Oh, that's pretty unsettling. Again, I really love that movie, The Witch. If you guys haven't seen it, I recommend it a lot. There's this fucking sheep in it. It's like Black Phillip, and it's got this line where he's like, "What dost thou want?" And it's like the fucking best, like the goat or whatever the fuck it says it, and it's like, damn, that shit's creepy as fuck. It goes back to like religious imagery, religious sentiment about goats. The I think in the Bible when it describes like the beast, when it describes the beast, it's got like a head of a goat or some shit like that.
When the fuck the swamp turn into real estate? Spirits in the weeping willows heavyweight. Yeah. Spirits out the bathtub for the everyday. Heavy mist got vision cloudy anyway. Anyway they go, they never get away. Shotgun in the shed and he can't wait to play. When the fuck the swamp turn into fashion week? Used to be pull up here flashy, wouldn't last a week. Used to stand out by just standing till he atrophied. Stitches tattooed on his lips so he don't have to speak. Hood commando, flip a gram up to a half a key. Pop a band up out the bando about a half a week. All kings and bastards round here, that just happens naturally. Yeah. Bathwater babies creep about the bayou magically and leave your brains behind the outhouse in the grass for cats to eat.
A lot of mentions of the swamp on this one. I like that he's like, oh, I don't need your thoughts. I don't need your prayers. Your fake ass prayers. It's fucking bullshit. Also, cock a smile sideways. Church for Sunday. Sometimes that shit you don't know more dangerous than gunplay. That's intense right there too. I like that shit of like, oh, every king is born a bastard here. There's a lot to dive into, like lyric wise, but I think sonically it's just like one of the weakest tracks on the album. It's just there's not a lot going on. It's very minimal, and it's striking more of like a slam poetry type of shit. I love it because I really like the poetry that's coming through here, but I just feel like it's really niche, to say the least.
All night it dries deep red on an off-white carpet and a soft light arch just above arm height. All white vans placed on the floor, pack of Pall Mall lights.
Apparently, this is a song that was released on Adult Swim compilation in 2016. I haven't heard it though, so 2016 that would make it like way probably like the first iteration of this series, this like horrorcore type of shit.
Absurdly hit the hydrant, which wouldn't stop. Spraying water that's dripping over the faces made its way through the windshield and cut and bleeded up. People leaving the scene and saying they never seen him. Everybody must have run the light and never broke. Haters reach for the gun, but couldn't get a hold. So it's didn't live up on the dash and all the flash, but the cameras is lighting up the noontime cold. Over.
David again came through with the fucking third verse. He always like steps it up in the fucking like third verse. It's dope. It reminds me of like Blood of the Fang. Like this is intended to give this album that credibility. Like, oh, this is the single in this album, because it is kind of like the second version of the same trick, just like being done again. I like to imagine that when they came out with that shit, a lot of people around them, they were like, bro, this is like very disturbing. Like, what the fuck? Because this is the first official release of like the horrorcore clipping.
It's down to the floor. Everything's frozen. The world is faster now. Look at it go. All of the cataracts floating outside of your vision are wrenching in. What do they know? Are they spilling words? Gone over you. It's so gone over you. You so gone. It's so gone. And it's
This is like the description of this song is like, this is talking about cosmic horror, very Lovecraftian elements. I like the idea of like, oh, nothing sticking. Like you're not really in the fucking, you're not in the moment. It doesn't matter.
riding around euphoria with hammers out the window. Whistle, crippling, crackling, rainbow. Make it rain dance for your people. Put a pound of joy up in a pill and crush it down to powder. Let it sit under your tongue and check back in about an hour. You'll never know. You'll never know. Just imagination, cuz you couldn't bear to see the limit of yourself for what it was. The good you wear on sleeves just isn't much. Your body is the drug you love, you crush. Make the most of magic, map the math of it. Master mouthpiece and extract the past from it. Plummet, plummet, plum pit, fruit, summit, some shit, loot.
You fall victim to addiction, I'm assuming, and like addiction is this dark lord that's like an all present being, and it just doesn't give a fuck about your death. I really like that story because it's very vague, but it's got this like omniscient being like singing it. You know, it feels like it's coming from a perspective of like an overlord of like overseeing your demise. But the only demise I could see is like the drugs, and it's like, oh, just go to the dance floor, just fucking it's all fucking bullshit. Like your life is meaningless. It's more about the cycle, the statistics that go into it. You know, it's like this plague. You know, Cthulhu isn't as much as an a demon as he is like the addiction to fucking, you know, some sort of drug or something, because like it has this like fucking feeling of like um euphoria. I think he even says that word, like it's euphoric, and it's like a drug. You know, you take it and you're feeling good, you just want to go on the dance floor, but it's fucking killing you. It's and you're a slave to it, you worship it. It's a dark lord. Right, so I'm not a big fan of like the whole let's just do a whole fucking 4 minutes of some bullshit. I think it's interesting, like you just add your own story. Well, they're trying to convey what's trying to happen, but I feel like not too much occurs. The little noises that like you can form a whole complete story, so you just gotta assume like, oh, okay, you're in the outside now, you're moving inside, and you know it's just like there's not really much there. So I'm not gonna say it's like the best ending. I don't think it comes close to like a good ending. It definitely doesn't end with a bang, if you know what I'm saying. And in lacing, it reminds me of a lot of that track Dominoes, but not. It doesn't have the finished quality that like that track has. Like Dominoes, it feels like, oh shit, this is like a closer right here. And then lacing doesn't really like feel like, oh, this is a grand epic closing to a fucking awesome album. The covers are referring to the idiom a tooth and a nail, like, oh, I fought a tooth and nail for this, you know, I gave it my all, and they really gave it their all. This project, it's fulfilling of what it's trying to accomplish. Like it sets a goal of like, we're gonna try and do a horror rap album, and it succeeds on all fronts. Like it's got some great storytelling, some great horror stories in there. Different types of topics, so many different types of topics that like incorporate the horror element into the rap genre. My favorite track off this whole project that I haven't heard previously to the singles is probably Check the Lock. But out of the singles, I really like Say the Name. I'm so glad that they released that. It's such an earworm, like the fucking the constant repetition of the name of the album. I really like that they waited till Halloween to release it, even though they had both of them locked in the chamber ready to go. Just like, no, we're gonna make this like a thing. Okay, for 2 years we're gonna do this Halloween project. It's just such a cool thing to do. I don't know. It's like that's like something I've never seen a rap uh, group do. It's paying homage to like some stuff that other people have done, like 3 6 Mafia, Bones Thugs and Harmony, and Brother Lynch Hung. But I wasn't part of that generation growing up, so I didn't hear them, nor did I experience like that in the time of like Halloween, you know. So especially with COVID, that canceled like Halloween, no trick or treating basically, and we're getting hit with like the second wave right now. It's just super cool to have something that's reminding me still like, no, it's like the spooky season, you know. Don't forget. I just love it, you know. It's like a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff is coming out like during the pandemic when it was already locked and loaded, and you're just thankful for these people that we're doing their job, and because like they're doing their job, we get to experience some stuff like in the comfort of our homes, and goddamn fucking salute to these people. I would say this is an 8.5. I think the other one might have been a little bit better just because like Blood of the Fang, because it had that track, but I think this one can compete with that album just the same, and it's like it it accomplishes the exact same thing that that album does, and I think it delivers with new approaches to the topics too, like the whole zombie thing. It really portrayed it really fucking good, but has some like really subtle themes to it as well, not just like, oh, this is about zombies. I think the interludes were on par with There Existed an Addiction to Blood. I feel like the the other one, the first album had a little bit creepier interlude, but this one definitely was playing more with like, I don't know, some 80s aesthetics, especially with the poltergeist shit. Yeah, but let me know what you guys thought.